Hey, hello again there, sports fans. Scott Travis here with another sports news update. Tonight I'm going to be talking about the New England Patriots so far and their battles in training camp for positions and their positional competition that's been going on all camp long and we should see throughout this preseason. Tonight they're taking on the Philadelphia Eagles down in Philadelphia. And let me just mention that this update is brought to you by Hairspray Salon of Providence, and they're located at 259 Wickenden Street. And I'm thankful for their sponsorship. And anyway, folks, on to the Patriots game and how things have been going. If you haven't been following all my updates and the news that I've been rallying along and relaying to you to try and keep you abreast of what's been happening in camp on a day-to-day basis, it looks like basically it's going to come down to positional battles all over the roster. And after what happened with the loss to the Ravens disappointingly in the playoffs, I think the Patriots really needed to get better in a lot of areas. Now, they've had some unexpected roster moves with one player going to prison probably for never coming back. He's certainly been waived. Another player, Gronk, still recovering from multiple surgeries. And then really the unexpected and disappointing departure of Wes Welker. But the more we come out of this, maybe it was a good thing for Wes to move on. The more news you hear he was really upset the way Belichick needled him. And if that was the way it was, he probably wasn't going to be happy here. And it was probably best that he moved on. It's sad, but puts a lot of pressure. At least the Patriots had a backup plan with Danny Amendola, and he'll be among one of the position battles tonight. Him as coming in as a free agent veteran that they gave a lot of money to take Wes Welker's spot. He was clearly, as Bob Kraft said, their second choice, but he's looked good so far in camp. Brady and he seem to have built a continuity early on and working well together. Julian Edelman, who some would harshly nickname Mr. August because he always looks great in the preseason. He's trying to get a roster spot, and he has a shot at a starting position, or at least, you know, playing a lot in this Patriots offense because you know no matter what, the Patriots are going to throw the ball. So Edelman, if he can stay healthy, he knows the offense. Brady and he have been working together now for several years. We'll see what happens. He'll be on the roster. Then there's some rookies that have been impressing. Aaron Dobson, you probably see some of the rookie activities. Him, Josh Boyce, and Kamara Aiken, they'll all be in action. And Kendrell Tompkins as another youngster that's been coming on of late in practice. So it'll be interesting to see whether these young kids get to play with Brady. I think the way Bill Belichick historically has done his preseason is that he'll surprise people. Sometimes he'll just play the seconds and thirds of guys battling for spots and get them on the field right away so he sees what he's got. He'll even play them against the other team's first string, and if they, get whitewashed or they survive, whatever it is, he can make a decision, because Belichick thinks in terms of this season and this week and this game. So he needs to know if players can play now, and if he has somebody on the roster, it means he can use them now. So, which brings me to the quarterback discussion. Tim Tebow trying to fight for a roster spot. The overall reports are that he hasn't been that sharp in practice, but he's not a real good practice guy. He never was. He's good in the games, which to me is kind of important. So I think what the Pats are looking at is he an option as a viable third quarterback, or because they like his leadership skills, his positive attitude, everything he brings as intangibles, and the fact that he wins when he plays, do they want to find some spot for him on the roster to keep him there? So we'll see. I really don't think they brought Tebow in to waive him, but we'll see what happens. Ryan Mallett will probably get the bulk of the playing time tonight. I would expect him to play, if Brady does start and go a series, I would expect Mallett to take over from there, probably play into the third, maybe even into the fourth quarter, because I think the Pats need to see what they've got there. If they're going to keep him on the roster, he needs to be somebody that if Brady goes down, they can rely on and run the same offense, as opposed to if Tebow ends up being the backup, it's somehow whether Mallett gets traded or whatever happens, because you never know. Brian Hoyer got released a couple of years ago, and that was kind of a surprise to me and some others. But anyway, we'll see what happens. Ryan Mallett didn't have a good preseason last year. He's going to have to step his game up. We'll be looking at that position and see what happens tonight. I think Tebow, you'll see them run some razzle-dazzle. They'll hopefully keep him in his comfort zone. They might try to make him throw some balls. We'll see what happens. We'll see how the game goes. It's preseason. You never know. They've been practicing all week. Maybe they're angry at one another. Maybe they've become friends. We don't know. And we don't know really who's going to play. But other positions to look at, Zoltan Mesko, the punter, who's been solid the last few years. The Pats brought in Ryan Allen, who was a Ray Guy Award winner. So he's a legit punter that will punt in the NFL somewhere. So Mesco, who's a good community service guy, his job, he's battling, and that's what's good about the Patriots. It seems like everybody's job is under, under battle, and people, going against one another to compete for spots. You look at the running back position. Ridley was clearly the top running back last year, and Vereen was good. Now you got Woodhead gone, so you bring in LeGarrette Blount, who's a totally different type of bull rush kind of rusher, which I like. He's an option. So those guys are battling at running back. The tight ends with Gronk out. Daniel Fells has been in the mix. The youngster, the unsigned, undrafted free agent, Zach Sudfeld, is impressive people. We'll see. He'll probably see some action tonight, I would imagine. Jake Ballard's still battling injury. I'm not really sure if he's going to see any action. And Michael Humanawunu, or Awanu, he's in the mix, but as a veteran, he better show some upside or reliability, because this Pats roster is going to come down. Every person's going to be there for a reason. So that's pretty much it with the offense. The offensive line, all the starters from last year are going to be back on the team this year, but there's a lot of injuries in there, which is why I'm kind of surprised that Brady was even going to see any action. But the regulars, Nate Sauter, Logan Mankins, Ryan Wendell, Dan Connolly, and Sebastian Vollmer, that's going to be your starting offensive line. We know that that's a good line. They ran the ball. They protected Brady. The offense, I think, even with all the changes on the receiver core and the tight end position, I think the offense is going to be fine. They're going to be, scoring at least in the 20s. The Patriots are never going to be struggling. But when it comes time to postseason, the defense, which I'm going to talk about now, which has a lot of position battles. We got Devin McCourty, who will most likely be a starter in the regular season, or pretty much definitely will. Is still questionable. He's wearing the red shirt for non-contact, so he may not see any action tonight. Aqib Talib is going to be a starting corner. He seems fired up. He took the one-year, $5 million deal because he wants to win, and of course parlay that into a long-term deal. But as long as we win this year, we'll take that. We like his attitude. Adrian Wilson, the veteran, was brought in at safety. Tavon Wilson, the youngster, who showed some flash with some ball hawkness and recovering fumbles, but he's been struggling and burned a little bit in this week's practices with the Eagles. So we'll see if he can hang on to his spot and maintain a team. Kyle Arrington will probably be a nickel back, which in this NFL these days, that's pretty much every down. Don't be surprised to see the Patriots play combinations of a 4-3 front seven, a 3-4, and then they'll go into nickels. They'll have 3 and 3 and 2, and they'll be moving people all over the place this year. So it'll remain to be seen what kind of defenses the Pats play in, but they also have an abundance of talented top draft pick players throughout the defense, but especially at middle linebacker and inside and outside linebacker, or defensive end if you count Ninkovich and Chandler Jones and Hightower and Mayo and Spikes. There's enough talent there that the Patriots should have a dominant front seven. Up front, Will Fork has some new guys around him. Tommy Kelly, veteran, and some other guys they brought in off the streets. Jermaine Cunningham looking to hang on to a spot. He showed flashes, had the PED suspension, really wasn't a factor after that. So I would say going into the game, watch the game. We all missed football for a long time. Let's just enjoy whoever plays. Don't take a whole lot out of meaning. It's really all about the coaching staff evaluating players and roster spots. But the better we play, obviously, every time we see the Patriots, it's always good news and it's always fun. So let's see what happens. I will be in touch with you guys. Don't forget, I want to thank everybody. I've picked up a lot of new followers on both Twitter and Facebook. On my Scott Travis Sports News is on Facebook. And Twitter, I'm at Scott Travis SN. I want to thank all my new followers, and hopefully you guys can help spread the word. I want to try and grow this as big as possible, expand the formats, have some people reporting in from different places, different correspondents for different things, maybe get some people in here to the studio with me. I'm looking to go as big as we can. Let's have some fun. I love talking about sports. I want to hear what you guys have to say. I'd love to hear about your interaction. Thank you for watching. I'm Scott Travis, and I will be in touch with you guys right after the Pats game, and I will be telling you what I think about it. So look for that in the next day or so. Thanks a lot. Thank you. Take care.